Sir Mon smiled he. Mon thinking inside today is the day. The sky is clear, perfect for seeing the blood stain your land. Ah, I feel alive. Kiefer knocked on the door and said, Sir Mon, the soldiers are ready to be deployed. Mon said, Oh, Kiefer. Good, that's great news. Let's hurry up and proceed. Kiefer asked, What? Mon said, Huh? Kiefer replied, Sir? Were you planning on heading out yourself? Mon said, Of course. I'm the commander. Who else will give the orders to the men out there? Kiefer said, That is correct. But today is not that kind of battle. There are some soldiers from our land, but you know very well that there are a number of criminals and beggars among them. They are not men who will follow the order of Darkfield. I cannot guarantee your safety should something happen. You must stay in the castle. That is also an order from your father. Mon said, From my father? TSK, I guess I have no choice. True, they know my face, and it would be troublesome if they had evidence. All right, I'll leave the battlefield to you, Kiefer. Kiefer said, Yes, my lord. However, Mon said, Make sure to bring back the woman alive. I will personally carve out her eyes and cut off her nose, ears, arms, and legs. Then I'll send them to him as gifts. When he's about to lose it from anger, Tada, I'll send him his wife's head as the final present. Huh, just imagining it is getting me excited. Remember, Kiefer. Bring her back alive. Oh, and make sure to burn down as much as possible. The fire has to be big enough for me to see from Darkfield. I'll need something to enjoy while I wait, don't you think? Kiefer said, Yes, as you wish, Sir Mond. A soldier thought the Count has a lot to worry about. Then the soldier said, Now then, let's get to work. Kian shouted, Ha. A soldier said, F. Kian, are you all right? Kian replied, I'm fine. Kian thought, I'm fine, but... The soldier said, Damn it. This is total chaos. But Kian, did you notice? Yes, they're disguised as bandits. But I see some familiar faces. Kian said, The bastards. They have no pride as knights. The soldier shouted, It's coming from the mines. Crap. This was a diversion. Kian said, Shane, do you think you can hold this place with the remaining soldiers? Shane replied, What? Oh, yeah, I'll manage. Kian said, Then I'll leave it to you. I need to get to the town. Kian thought a diversion. If their original intention was to divide our men, then some of our soldiers will be headed towards the mine after hearing the horn, which means the town where Our Lady is visiting will be vulnerable. Fool, why are you thinking about him? She is not that person. She is Lady Edna, not Prince Eden. I know that, Kian said, Clear a path. I must find Lady Edna. Kian thought, but still, if I don't go now, I feel I won't be able to forgive myself.
Edna said, Here, take this. Father said, Thank you, Your Grace. Why, Your Grace? What should we do now? Edna said, Friar Noel. If the church were to fall under attack, will this underground grave remain safe? Noel said, Yes. Yes. This place will not be affected, even if the church above crumbles. Edna said, Is there another way in, besides the entrance? Noel said, Yes, another way was built as bandits frequently raided this place. Edna said, That's a relief. Looks like we are saved thanks to the diligent work of the church. Chris said, Your Grace. Edna said, What is going on? Chris said, We're being attacked. Edna said, Wait, Chris said we're all going to die here? Edna said, Please calm down. Women crying and said, And the Lord isn't here. Other people also shouted, I don't want to die. Darn it! Why did we work so hard? If we were going to die like this, this is the end. Dear God, please save us. Edna loudly quiet. Crying and praying here will solve nothing. Use that time wasted on crying to live. I don't plan on dying here today, and I don't plan on letting my people die either. Above our knights are risking their lives for us, yet here you all are thinking about dying? This is the home you all worked so hard on. Will you let them trample on the land that we finally brought back? For now, calm down and follow my orders. Nothing will be accomplished if you continue to panic. We will teach them all a lesson. Those who can fight, follow me. Those who are unable to fight must evacuate with Friar Noel. There is no time to lose. We will fight for our home with our own 2 hands. Commander said everything is going as planned. Let's join them. You men will do as you usually do. Burn and kill everything in your path. Oh, and if you come across a woman who looks like a noble, bring her back alive. That's an order from Sir Maud. Soldier said, yes, sir. Commander said, now then, there is nothing to fear. Eli is away. Without him, all of these fighters are simple knights. Let's destroy them all. Edna, soldier, thinking the ground is shaking, the one leading. Is that Kiefer? As we thought, this was planned by Count Polit. Commander, think everyone looks nervous. Well, so am I. It's all right. Soldier, think Lady Edna said we could do this. I believe in her words. We will get through this. Women shouted, please have mercy. I'll give you anything you want. Just please, not my child. Soldier said, hey, she said she'd give us anything. What can we even take from this dump? Sorry, lady, but we're not here to pillage. We're here to kill. If you want, you can blame your lord for this in hell. The soldier said, ma'am? Ma'am, are you all right? You're safe now. Lady said, thank you, thank you. But how? Soldier said, much has happened. The lady has been giving orders. We may be weaker, but we have more people. She said we can win if we ambush the smaller groups one by one. Lady said, the lady? Yes, she's incredible. There isn't a hero in any land who can compare to Lady Edna right now. She's like a god of war. Soldier and loudly ugh. Ack. Edna, thinking, always remember Edna. You are as skilled as any knight in the palace. However, you cannot best them with force. That is simply out of your hands. That is why you must learn to wield that whip as if it is a part of your own body. Learn to push and pull it. Take advantage of the strength of those trying to defeat you with force alone. Enemy soldier shouted, blast. How dare you? Just come quietly, you foolish woman. Soldier said to Lady Your Grace. Enemy attacked on Prince Huh? K. Edna attack and kill him. Soldier said, Your Grace? Lady Edna. Are you all right? Edna reply, ha. He managed to tear my dress a bit, but this is much better. Hold this for a moment. Soldier said, yes, my lady. Edna, thinking, now this is perfect. My dress was too heavy and was slowing me down anyway. Commander, thinking it was a good idea to take the hidden passage and ambush them first from outside of town. I don't see any of Eli's men here though. They must be trapped in the town center. One-eyed, one-armed, even some without their nose or ears. They may be hiding under those hoods, but it's clear these men were prisoners. They must have been tortured in the Count's castle until today and set free with the promise of a reward. Perhaps in exchange for their freedom. They're simply a band of criminals, but their numbers will make it hard to break through. If our knights are trapped at the center, then the Count's best knights must be there as well. I have to defeat them and gather all our people together. I must head towards the center and join our knights. Kiefer, thinking, damn it. Where is Lady Edna? This anxiety. I know this feeling. I've felt it before. When I couldn't protect the one I was supposed to. A girl said, Kian, do you see? He's the one you will serve for the rest of your life. From the moment you take your oath as a knight, he will be your lord and your son. Kian, thinking, at first, it was out of a sense of duty. But as time went by, I watched that person shine brighter and brighter. Then, he truly became my son. But in the end, I couldn't protect him. Others will say he was a weak and feeble prince. But I knew that was not his true self. He was hiding his strength, waiting for the right time. Behind those quiet eyes was a burning light that couldn't be hidden. And I wanted to protect that light. Duke said, is this the one? Kian, thinking, the main palace, where Duquesne III was staying, was quickly conquered. But we faced stronger foes at the Queen's palace. Duke said you killed 8 of my men? They were soldiers I had handpicked. You're quite strong. I like people like you. Join my side, Kian. Because of you I'm now short on men. If you follow me, well, you won't get anything like glory or honor. But I will promise you your life. Kian think inside as that man said that, he had his back to the light, and I couldn't see his face. But those eyes, his eyes fostered the same light that I once knew. Kian said, yes, my lord. Kian continued thinking I've already lost one lord. If I fail this one as well, how would I be able to live with what I've done? Actually, I know I'm chasing an illusion. Still, I don't want to see the one who resembles him, befall the same end. Soldier shout Ga, Edna said got you. Soldier said what? Edna attack on horse and got the soldier. Soldier think I can't move forward. I could lose them if I was by myself, but this is the townspeople's first experience with battle. Even though they are greater in number, if I leave them, they might, what should I do? People said your grace. Behind us, at the rear. The knights have arrived. The knights from our land. They are headed this way. Defeating the enemies to our rear. Well, it looks like today is not the day we died. Edna said don't lose your focus. We must stay in formation. People reply yes, ma'am. Soldier said Chris, you hanging in there? Chris replied don't talk to me, I'm dying. Soldier kick him and said humph. I see you have enough energy to grumble. Get up. There's no time to lie around. Chris said ugh, Ritrel? You've been especially harsh on me recently. Soldier said you're imagining things? Chris said no, I don't think so. The soldier said if you've got time to play, then figure out how to get us out alive. If we don't do something about Kiefer's men, we're both dead. Chris said don't hit me with the back of your sword. How does it look right now? Soldier said very bad. Most of the bandits are gone. But about 10 of the Count's knights, including Kiefer, remain, and most of them are on horseback, unharmed. Meanwhile, we have no horses, and about 5 injured knights. If Kiefer wasn't there, we could do something. I hate to admit it, but Kiefer lives up to his fame. Chris said regardless, we have to keep them here until reinforcements arrive. If they get through, they'll head straight for town. Lady Edna said it's alright, but the townspeople can't fight against a squad of knights. We have to guard this place, with our lives. W.H. What are you doing, Ritrel? Ritrel said oh, I was reacting to something stupid. You know, don't even think of throwing away your life so easily. Think of Rhea, will you? Chris said W.H. Why does Rhea matter right now? What does Rhea have to do with this? Ritrel said don't play dumb. You think I wouldn't notice that you like Rhea? My sister has been hurt a lot, so she may be a bit odd, but those flaws don't matter. She's a good person. You have to make her happy. Of course, that's if Rhea chooses to accept you. Chris said well, I didn't mean that I would literally die. And once this is over, I'm going to confess. Now, where will you strike first? Ritrel said I'm going for the 2 on the left. Aim for the horse's legs. Chris said I know. Going on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sir Kian. Edna said Af. Tie him up. Soldier said yes, ma'am. Edna thinking the sun will set soon, the woods are dangerous at night. I'd like to wrap things up here as quickly as possible. Soldier said my lady. I'm sorry for being late. Are you all right? Edna replied I'm fine. Soldier said my lady there's blood. Edna said oh, I'm all right. It's not my blood. In any case, Roman? Roman said yes. Edna said lend me your horse. Roman replied my horse? Edna said yes, there's no time to lose. Roman said my horse? Wait, why are you holding a sword? And what happened to your dress? It's too dangerous here, Your Grace. I'll take you to a safer place. Ah, Edna said, are you hurt? Roman reply? And no. Edna said, I know this must be hard to understand. But I don't have time to explain. Instead, trust me. I am not as weak as you think. Roman said, but still. People shouted, come on, just let her go. How long do you plan on letting Her Grace just stand there during such a critical time? Hurry up. She's been taking the lead and defeating enemies left and right. She's probably better on a horse than you. Roman said, wait, more may arrive at any moment. Shouldn't you be guarding the front now? Hey, wait. Don't drag me off. Why, Your Grace, will you really be all right? Edna said, I'll be fine. A few bandits won't be enough to hurt me. Don't worry. Focus on protecting the townspeople. Roman said, all right, I've seen how good you are with my own eyes. I hope you'll simply explain everything later. Edna thinking, I'm sorry. But I can't answer that. If I do have to talk about this, the one who should hear about it first is that person. Kian said, ah, Retrel said, Sir Kian. Kian said, darn, you'll. Ha. 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 Mond and Kian attack each other. Gah. Retrel loudly said, Sir Kian. Mond said, Kiefer. Ha ha. To see the great Kian himself looking like this. Kian said, humph. You imbecile. Even the blacksmith who made your sword must feel ashamed. Mond said, your mouth is more alive than ever. Because of that arrogant attitude of yours, many of the knights hated you. I was one of them. Now, Kian, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Kneel before me. While in the meantime, oh right, you're here. When will I appear? Kiefer said, how pitiful. Are these truly the knights Eli was so proud of? Ha! I didn't even need to wear this armor underneath. Retrel said, you talk a big game for someone who's winning thanks to their numbers. Do you have no shame? Kiefer smiled and said, haha. You're quite talkative yourself. Listen, you worthless scum, I don't care how noble you think you are, but right now, we're the ones looking down on you, and you're the ones waiting for death. The one who's alive at the end wins. Didn't you learn that while spending all your time at war? Ah, the sun is setting. It's time to finish this. Now! Set this forest on fire. We'll need some light for our way back. Chris said, fool. Do you think we'll just let you do that? We won't. Stay still. Ugh, the young master told us several times. Kiefer said he wants a fire big enough to see from his castle. Chris said, ah, no. These people work so hard for this land. Chris, no. Don't go. G.U.H. Retrel shouted, Chris. Damn it, move. Chris. Chris. If you die here and leave Rhea behind, I won't forgive you. Did you hear me, Chris? Kian said, G.U.H. Kian thinking, darn, I can't fight properly because of this injury. Kiefer said, I usually avoid such troublesome things. Stop there. But beheading you could be quite fun. It would be something worth boasting about, you know. Slicing off the head of Kian. I'll skin your face and pass it down to my children, so feel honored. Looks like the town is finished. It's just the right time to, huh? What are you laughing at? Kian smiled and said, haha, Kiefer, you fool. Are those sounds really the cries of the criminals you brought? Listen carefully. Men, women, children, and even the old. That is the cry of Westfield. You've lost. Kian thinking inside people will arrive soon to put out the fire. It's fine as long as we've won. I don't regret dying here. But I wish I could see that person one last time before. Kian said, Prince Eden. Kiefer said, are you, the Dukes? Kiefer thinking inside, what? What am I asking? That blood-stained woman can't be the Duchess. What kind of noble lady holds a sword like that? But what is this overpowering aura? It's as if I'm being looked down on. Kian said, Prince Eden, is that you? Prince Eden. My lord, my one son, is it really you? Have you truly returned? Edna said yes. Kian, you fought well. If you all hadn't held this place, the townspeople wouldn't have been able to push them back, no matter how many hands they had. So Kian, gather yourself and stand back. Your wounds are deep, but you must not die here. You must help me and my husband. Kian, think this person, she is Prince Eden, and also, but my lord, the path you wish to take may be too cruel for you. As you wish, my son. Edna said, Kiefer, Count Pullet's best knight, am I correct? Kiefer said yes, that is. Kiefer thinking, what am I doing? You idiot. I was overwhelmed by her aura and blurted out something I shouldn't have. Me, Kiefer. Darn it. At this rate, I'll end up confessing the Count's plan myself. No, I can't let that happen. Kiefer loudly said, kill her. Duchess or not, kill them all. Kill every single one of them, Kian said. McFadden? McFadden said, how's your shoulder? Kiefer said, it's been treated, so it's fine. McFadden said, how is Lady Edna? Kiefer replied, she's asleep. Resting after moving around all day. McFadden said, and she had left her sick bed just a few days ago. It's hard to believe even after seeing it myself. McFadden thinking, on Lord Eli's command, I ran here without sleep for 3 days, and arrived in time to see the Duchess slaughter the enemy. She stood against the great knight of Darkfield. Although his honor was questionable, his skill with the sword was well known. Yet, she easily defeated him, in one swing, without injury. It's not just her looks. The way she fought, she is definitely Prince Eden. Kiefer asks, what's with you? McFadden said, but if she's really Prince Eden, you heard her yourself. She's Prince Eden. Then, after that day, as a woman she must have suffered so much. No, even before, she lived her life as the royal prince, hiding her secret, enduring so much cruelty, and that also means the Lord is her enemy. Kiefer said, McFadden, if you are planning to tell Lord Eli about her true identity, or if you are planning to do anything that will bring her harm, I will fight you. Not just you, but Chris, Rittrell, Owen, the lord of this castle, and even the king of this country. If it's for her, I will not hesitate to raise my sword. McFadden said, even with your warning, I wasn't planning on telling the Lord. Both the king and I owe our lives to her. As a knight, I will not drag my savior into danger. However, if her identity somehow becomes known, and if that causes harm to the Lord or to the king, I will have no choice. Kiefer said, if that happens, do your best for the Lord you serve. And I, too, will do my best for my Lord. You're pretty cocky. Rhea said, it's all right. Don't be afraid. Edna said, Rhea? Rhea said, my lady. What were you thinking? How could you do something so dangerous in such a state? Your whole body was covered in blood, and you wouldn't wake up. Edna said, Rhea. Rhea said, do you know how scared I was? It was a miracle that you came back safely. Really, it's nothing short of a miracle. Edna thinking, I had a dream. It was warm and gentle, that voice, that touch, she was never like that before. Edna said, Mother. Edna think you saved me. Me and my child. Rhea said, my lady. Are you all right? Servant said to King, you seem bored, your majesty. Should I call in the jesters? King replied, it's fine. Let our guests enjoy the music, and socialize a bit longer. Servant said, I suppose, since the guest of honor was unable to attend, you'd feel a bit lonely. I heard you two have been good friends for a long time. This must be disappointing. King said, well, I've given him his prize separately. And although it is disappointing, everyone knows how busy Westfield must be. Can you really not stay even for one day? The feast tomorrow will be to award the winner of the jousting match. If the guest of honor is missing, everyone will be disheartened. Duke said, please forgive me, Your Majesty. Darkfield is acting suspiciously. King said, I guess you're not satisfied with just sending McFadden there. Duke replied, yes, unfortunately. King said, it's good that you're worried about your wife, but think of your land too. Duke said, excuse me? It's written all over your face. You've become quite the sweet husband since I last saw you. Do you love Lady Edna that much? Duke said, yes, I love her, with all my heart and soul. King smiled, ha ha ha. With all my heart and soul. I asked the newlywed a silly question, didn't I? Duke said, you're being childish, Your Majesty. I really want to meet her as well. You should bring her here someday. I don't want to. It's best if only I can see her. King said, don't be so stingy. Enough of the jokes. You may return home. And I'll let you take our fastest horse. Duke said, thank you, Your Majesty. King said, oh, and one more thing, I have a gift for you. Duke said, that's Your Majesty. Servant said, Your Majesty. Are you all right? If you're tired. King said, oh, my apologies. My mind must have wandered. What were we talking about? Men said, ha ha ha, it's not me. There's a lady over there who's been waiting for you. King said, waiting for me. Anna said, greetings, Your Majesty. I am Anna, daughter of Viscount William. King thinking, oh, right. This woman. King said, nice to meet you. Anna said, though it was due to circumstances out of my control, I have disobeyed your orders, Your Majesty, and so I came here to ask for your forgiveness. King said, I already heard the rumors. You were very sick, weren't you? How unfortunate. But the Duke has fallen in love with his new bride, so everything has been forgiven. Isn't that great? Anna thinking, great. In the worst-case scenario, I thought I would still be forced to marry that man. But it looks like he's not planning to send me to that imbecile. King also thinking, I can see what you're thinking. You've humiliated my brother, show no signs of remorse, and now you are trying to seduce me. There's a limit to how brazen you can be. I was going to punish her since she disobeyed a royal order, but perhaps I'll add a bit of personal revenge as well. Anna said, this is a heavy topic to discuss at such a merry feast. And I have some questions I'd like to ask you as well. Why don't we continue this somewhere quieter? King said, at my chamber, perhaps? How is that? Anna said, yes, I'll await your summons. I hope you enjoy the rest of the feast. Anna thinking, I did it. I win. I didn't even need to mention it. The king invited me to his chamber first. Once we're alone, he will have no choice but to fall for me. Men are all the same. He pretends to be a pure king, superficial beasts that care only about looks. But in the end, King Caden is a man as well. I'll give him what he wants. That makes everything easier. And in exchange, I'll get what I want. Duke thinking, this necklace, it's a treasure of the royal family, passed down onto the wives of Beowulf. I would like to give this to Lady Edna as a gift. And don't refuse. You must accept this as a royal order. I can't wait to see you. Father, said Anna, don't you think you're drinking too much? We don't know when the king will summon you, and this worries me. Anna replied, my father? You're so timid. There's nothing to worry about. Why would he call me to his chamber? Because he has already fallen for my charms. Maid came and said, pardon me? You must be Lady Anna? I send word from the king. He would like to see you after the sun sets. Anna said, What did I tell you? I will make you a part of the royal family, father. You will sit with the council, and become one of the greats who commands this country. Anna said, If I become queen? No, if I simply have the king's child. So here. Anna said, Cheers, father. Looks like I've raised my daughter well. Anna said, Anna thinking, did I drink too much? That stupid old man. I tried too hard to match his pace. Ugh, I feel dizzy. I think I had something to do. I feel like the whole world is spinning. Right, King Caden. I have to go see King Caden. Anna said, All right. King said, Here comes the queen. Lady Anna, you're here. Why are you so late? I was anxiously waiting for you. Now come this way. Lady Anna, you're so beautiful. Please be my queen. Anna replied, Your Majesty. Anna thinking, You're not that handsome, and you're kinda short, and you look really timid and shy, but since you're the king, I'll let you have me. King thinking, Long hair, it tickles. Anna said, That tickle, haha, Your Majesty, Your Majesty? Horse loudly neighed. Anna thinking, This is. Wait, what happened? The stable. King Caden's chamber. Last night I didn't make it. Father came and said, Anna, there you are. What happened? The king confiscated our family's title, land, and fortune. He took everything. I thought you asked him for forgiveness? But what are you doing here in the stable? Anna. King Caden said, No wonder she didn't come last night. But to think she was drunk with the horses. I was planning to humiliate her myself, but it looks like she's doing well on her own. Well, I suppose this is for the best. Duke said, We're almost there. Keep it up, just a bit further. Is something burning? Darn it, no. It can't be. Soldier said, My lord. Duke said, Macklin, give me a status report. Macklin said, Knights from Darkfield brought along a group of bandits to attack us. Duke said, What of Kian and McFadden? Macklin said, Sir Kian was seriously injured and his wounds are being treated. Sir McFadden is chasing down the remaining enemies in Chester Forest. The town and a part of the forest was burnt, but the number of casualties is low. The knights and townspeople fought well. Duke said, You said Kian was injured. Macklin said, Yes. We were attacked at different times in different places, including at the castle. I heard some of the people at the castle were either hurt or killed. Duke said, Then? No, it's nothing. I'll hear the rest at the castle. Macklin said, Yes, my lord. Duke said, How pathetic. I've gone through numerous battlefields, yet I've never felt like this before. Is Edna safe? I couldn't ask because I was afraid of the answer. Afraid? Yes, I'm afraid. What if something happened to Edna? What if I couldn't protect again the ones I love? Caden said, Oh, your grace. W.L. Rowell said, Come. My lord! You've returned so early. Duke asked Rowell, Where's Edna? Rowell said, She's sleeping in her. Duke said, I see. Duke thinking, Is she hurt? Doesn't look like it. Duke said, Hiya, thank you, dear gods, really, no one else could make me tremble like this. Edna said, Eli. I thought I was dreaming. Duke said, I didn't mean to wake you. Edna said, This really isn't a dream. Duke said, It's not a dream. I'm sorry for leaving you alone, my love. Edna said, Haha, but don't hug me too tightly. We wouldn't want our lovely child to get hurt, no? Duke said, Huh? Edna said, What did you just say? Edna thinking our lovely child. Oh, dear gods! Can I really be this happy? Thank you for letting me meet this person. Thank you, Goth said. Father, all my life, you never once acknowledged me. Perhaps my actions seemed trifling to you, but I always did my best. I spent my whole life trying to win your acceptance. Worthless. Worthless. Worthless, you say? You're the one who made my life like this. Even until the end, you chose to ignore me until the very end. Father, I despise you, I loathe you, Father. The Duke thought that those were Goth's last words. His heir had died, but the Count remained calm, even through this unexpected turn of events. Goth's father said, It's all right. I have another son. The Duke continued thinking that the Count still had Maid. Maid was a bit slow, but he was full of bravery and aspiration. That was how the Count comforted himself while watching over his son's dead body. Though Maid always fought with Goth, he would surely seek revenge once he heard the news. The Duke said, Kill Maid. We won't go to war. Our land still lacks the strength. We won't win if we fight head-on. But it's not like we can just ignore them either. They dared to step on my land with their dirty feet. It's not enough to just kill some of their henchmen. We must execute the leader. McFadden said, We've already sent out our best spies. They can kill an idiot like Maid in the blink of an eye. This will serve as a good warning. The Duke thought, however, there was no need for Eli to make a move. Maid was already dead. Let's look back on what happened. Maid had been there when Kiefer was killed. He had been there, watching Edna. Kiefer thought, Who is she? The Duchess? What kind of noble lady can kill a head knight in one swing? She's just a woman. Should I attack? Eli's other men are all exhausted anyway. I shouldn't. Kiefer got killed. It's too risky, no. The Duke continued thinking that it had been a decision made on pure instinct, but seeing as McFadden was there as well, Maid had been particularly careful. It was the right choice. He traveled the whole way on foot to avoid being noticed, until he arrived at a small town at the edge of Darkfield. He was tired and exhausted. He wanted to eat, drink, and lie down somewhere comfortable. He chose a small farmhouse and tried to fill his stomach with what he found in the warehouse. A girl shouted, "W!" When he came to, he was strangling the girl. Huh! Do I really need to do this? He thought hazily. He was so confused that he didn't take note of the objects spilling around as the girl tossed about. Huh! And so he couldn't comprehend what had happened. The girl's father had rushed in with a pickaxe when he heard the ruckus. The axe striking his head was the last thing Maid remembered. It was a futile death. But that was the fuse that lit a very big explosion, McFadden said. What are your thoughts? Kian said. About what? If you mean about killing Maid, then of course. I think they deserve it. McFadden said. No, not that. I meant about the Lord and Lady. Kian said. You're still talking about that? As I told you before, if you do anything to hurt her. McFadden said. No, that's not what I meant. As you know, she's a savior to me as well. And they are such a lovely couple. I don't plan to interfere. But I'm worried exactly because they love each other so much. I wonder if we should tell His Grace about what happened in the past. I want to hear your opinion, Kian. Kian said. What do you think? McFadden said. I think His Grace should know. Because they love each other. She already knew everything, that the child she saved killed the royal family, and that I was the knight who was beside that child. She knew, yet she said it was all right. That's why, I think he should know. Because Eden has already forgiven everything. Kian said. Then do as you think. That's quite a good conclusion coming from someone like you. The Duke said. What? Why, you little. Edna said. Edna thought, when did I fall asleep again? Eli came back, at dawn. Eli, was that real? Now it feels like a dream. Oh well, I should get changed first and ask Raoul later. I'm still sleepy. I have so much work to do. Edna said. Eli? Duke Eli said. Did you sleep well? Edna said. You almost scared the child out of me. Eli replied. What? Edna smiled. Pfft, ha ha ha, I've never seen you this flustered. Eli said. Only in front of you. If you laugh too much, you might not get your present. Edna said. A present? The Duke said. Actually, I was thinking of showing it to you after we eat. Edna thought, this is my mother's. Edna said. This necklace is a treasure that has been handed down through the royal Beowulf family. Only queens can wear this necklace. Edna recalled her mother saying, One day you too, when you find a queen. Edna continued thinking, it was as beautiful as the stars, but it wasn't mine to have. I thought I'd never be able to wear it. The Duke said, Edna? Edna replied, I'm all right. The Duke said, It's. Edna said, It's just so beautiful, that's why. And because I'm so happy, thank you. I love you. Manda's father said, Mand is dead. No one is left to continue our family's legacy. How did things become like this? Eli, it's his fault. This is all his fault, Edna said. Thank you for coming. I apologize for calling you at such a busy time. Training the new soldiers, repairing the damages. Eli seems tired as well. McFadden said. Ah, yes. Edna said. You look a bit uncomfortable. McFadden said. And not at all, Your Grace. I'm just not used to this, that's all. You're the first to invite a soldier like me to tea, I'm sure you already know. Edna said. But today, I didn't summon you here just for tea. The knight and boy that I saved a long time ago, you told me that it was you and Caden, the one who led the revolution. I'd like to hear more about that. Eli and Caden. And their relationship. When Eli came back, he gave me a present. It was the necklace that had been passed down to queens. He knew the value of the necklace, and so did Caden. It's a gift from Caden. They gave it to me, despite knowing this. I am a stranger. They don't know where I'm from. Yet they gave me a royal treasure. Isn't that a bit too much to be given, between a lord and his vassal? Please don't be so alarmed, McFadden. I know I sounded harsh, but I'm not trying to start anything suspicious. I just want to know. I want to know everything about him. Eli is very strong and confident, but when I take a careful look, he has big and small scars all over his body. So many scars that they can't even be covered by armor. I want to help heal all those wounds. Oh, but you don't have to force yourself. I know I'm hiding things myself, so it'd be selfish to want to know everything. McFadden thought, perhaps, if it's her. McFadden said, This will be a very long story, my lady. Edna said, First, I should start from that time. When you saved me and Sir Caden. Caden's father said, Walk properly, Caden. Caden said, Father. Edna thought, after Diane killed herself, Duquesne III would not let go of his anger. Despite all the gold and jewels that were offered, Duquesne III only felt more suspicious. In the end, he decided to test the loyalty of the McGregor family. Edna recalled the king saying, You have 2 sons, don't you? The man said, Yes. However, I was told my first son wouldn't last 3 more years due to his frail health. The king said, Then, what will you do about an heir? The man said, I am educating my second son. The king said, Well, I've been gifted with some hunting dogs recently. I'd like to test how well they're trained, but it's not yet hunting season, so I've been growing impatient. Let's see, a weak prey would do nothing to excite the dogs. All right. The second one will do. A dishonor resulting from a life taken must be atoned for with another life, don't you think? Caden's father said, We're going to see the king. Caden thought, that is what Hayden said, but Caden knew. Caden's father said, Get in. Caden thought, it was his turn. Father might kill me. Caden said, Father, please have mercy. His father said, No, why do you think I've fed you and clothed you until now? All of this is for the revival of our family. Edna thought Caden was forced to play a role that was too cruel for an 11-year-old child. Caden shouted, No! The soldier shouted, My lord! Please think this through once more, my lord! To throw a living person to the dogs, and your own son at that. This can't happen, Caden's father said. Caden, if you don't do this, your brother will have to. Do you want your brother to suffer? Caden said. No. I don't want him to get hurt, Caden's father said. Good boy. Caden's father pushed him down in front of the dogs. The soldier said, Master Caden! Caden said. Ouch, grrrr dash. The king said. Release the dogs. The soldier shouted. Aya, please save him, my lord. He's only 11, the lady said. What's that sound? The maid replied. I'll go ask, your highness. The maid returned and said, Your highness, his majesty is testing the hunting dogs in the arena, the lady asked. The hunting dogs? Then, why is that knight pleading so desperately? The maid answered. That's because the dogs aren't hunting an animal. The younger son of House McGregor is inside. The one crying is a knight who served that boy, the lady said. I see. Father is. The maid continued. Your highness, this won't be a pleasant sight. We should return to Dash. The lady interrupted. Please stop for a moment. Greetings, father. I was just passing by, when I heard about this event you were hosting. Do allow me to object. From my perspective, this doesn't seem like a proper event, father, the king replied. My son. You dare to criticize how I choose to amuse myself? The lady replied. No, father. I just think the hunt is not satisfying. A bigger, much stronger prey should be prepared for the emperor's dogs. This boy is too small, too young, and too weak. In that moment, McFadden saw a tiny fist shaking in fear. Yet he also saw a power that shined, a power that wouldn't back down. It was only for a short moment. The lady said, I thought it might hurt your reputation. The knight continued thinking. The light disappeared in an instant, leaving only a thin trail. But they had already seen such a light from nearby, so they could easily catch it. Caden thought. I've seen that before. It was just like Eli's, the essence of a king, the king said. If my dear, cute son says as such, I've lost interest. Send the dogs and the boy away. Bring the musicians instead, the knight said. Then, your majesty, the king replied. What are you standing there for? Hurry up and leave, Caden thought. Am I saved? The maid said to the lady. We should go now, your highness, the lady replied. All right, the knight shouted. Master Caden, Caden thought. So bright. The knight asked. Master Caden, are you all right? You have bruises all over. Caden said. McFadden. The knight said. Master Caden. Master Caden. Caden thought. Just like my brothers. The knight shouted. A doctor! Please call a doctor! Anyone, please. Then he muttered. Darn it! Rotten! The castle is rotten at its core. He's only a small boy. Oh, Master, Master Hayden, Master Hayden shouted. Caden! What happened? The knight replied. His Majesty called us to test his hunting dogs, and he asked that Master Caden be the hunt. And so, Father threw Caden to the dogs. Hayden thought. It's the same. Just like Mother. He plans to abandon Caden just like he did with Mother. Father, you are. Then the Lord shouted. McFadden! Who told you to leave the castle as you wished? Hand over Caden. I must take him back, McFadden replied. But my lord, Master Caden is hurt. And the Emperor told us to leave. Why do you wish to return to the castle? The Lord shouted back. Shut up! Don't you understand what banishment is? The banquet after the hunt. I've spent my whole life waiting to be invited to that banquet. I threw away my pride, and even though people pointed their fingers at me, I gave him my wife. Yet, she ruined everything by killing herself. This is the second time I've disappointed Duquesne III. I must buy back the king's favor before he grows more weary of my family, even if it means offering Caden's head, Hayden said. Then you should offer yourself to the dogs, the Lord replied. What? Hayden continued. Everything you've worked for until now is to make me king, isn't it? Then you should die for me. Caden and I will continue our family's mission, the Lord shouted. You! How dare you! You're just my tool, the Lord said. What are you doing, McFadden? Move! I must teach this brat a lesson, Hayden shouted. McFadden! Father has gone mad, the Lord replied. What? He must be in shock. Then he yelled. Let go! I said let go! McFadden! You dared to betray your master? McFadden answered. I will always be the knight who protects McGregor. But you are no longer the Hayden I will serve. As the knight who has taken on the McFadden name, I declare that you are no longer the one I shall protect. The Lord shouted. You! Hayden, you think you can succeed? You think you're the only one born with the ability to be king? If we lose this chance, if we pull further from the royal family, you will never be king, Hayden said. Don't worry about that. I won't be king. Now I bid you farewell. Take him inside. No one is to open that door unless I command it. Hayden then asked. McFadden, how is your wound? McFadden replied. It's just a scratch. His swing was weak, so the sword didn't cut through my armor. Hayden looked at him and said, I won't apologize or thank you for this. Those feelings are not necessary for the path I plan to walk. McFadden, I might become worse than my father. I might sacrifice everything. My life, yours, and even Caden's, but still, I need you. Vow your sword to me, McFadden, McFadden thought. He was only 14. He was still small compared to his peers, but the hand he held out felt very big. McFadden answered. As you wish. While sleeping, Caden murmured. Hayden softly said. Caden. Caden opened his eyes and said. Brother, how? Hayden replied. Don't move. You'll aggravate your injury. Caden then asked. What about father? Is he very upset? Hayden looked at him and said. Caden, I have a favor to ask, McFadden said. No. Never. You can not do that, Hayden replied. I knew you'd say that, McFadden asked. Then why did you dash? And what about Master Caden? Hayden answered. I already told Caden everything. On that day 2 years ago. Caden said. A favor. All right. I'll do whatever I can. Hayden replied. Sorry, Caden. You'll be disappointed in me after hearing this. Caden shouted. Disappointed? I would never, Hayden said. I told you not to move so recklessly. Caden, the favor I want to ask is for you to take over my position when I die. Caden cried out. That's die. Don't say something like that. And someone like me taking over for you, that's impossible. Caden thought. No, it's not just me. Nobody can take my brother's place, Hayden said. Caden, it's all right. You can do it. In fact, you're the only one who can. I finally realized it after this incident. The king has gone mad, and it's getting worse. In the future, more innocent people, like you or Mother, may get hurt. I've told you before. We must put an end to this madness. Caden, we will go to the palace riding the bloody storm the king has brought forth. But the one to succeed the throne must not be Hayden. Our purpose must not be for revenge. Do you understand, Caden? It's all right, don't worry. Everything will be fine. I'll definitely protect you. So don't cry, Caden. You have to become stronger, because you'll lead everyone when the time comes. Hayden thought. I did think that it might be impossible for him. It's too great a weight for an 11-year-old child. I know because I've felt it myself, the commander said. Gather all the knights. The head knight will personally train everyone today, Caden thought. And yet, I had no choice but to leave this to Caden. The path to the throne will inevitably be covered in blood. But a bloody murderer should not sit on the throne. That is why I will take on all of the blood myself. The commander shouted. Hayden, I'll kill you and become king myself. Ah ha 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 ha. McFadden cried out. Ha, Master Hayden. Hayden, Hayden thought. This is bad. The wound is surprisingly deep. Caden screamed. Brother. Hayden. No. Don't die. Hayden thought. Don't worry. I won't die. Oh, Caden, I'll definitely come back, you crybaby. McFadden, take care of Caden. You must protect him. My feet feel so cold. My body feels heavy. When I open my eyes again, I won't be Hayden. I'll be someone else. This time, I will live as Caden's shadow, McFadden said. After that, he suffered from pain for a while, but luckily he came through. He got better and began his life as Eli. He was wearing leather and a layer of thick clothes, but we did not expect the previous master's sword to pierce so deep. It was probably because his fury and anger had erupted after being imprisoned for 2 years. He wasn't exactly good with the sword, and what he did can't be excused, but in the end, he probably lived an empty life. Edna said. I see. He never loved anyone and was never loved back. He only existed to have revenge. It's a lonely way of life. Revenge is pointless, McFadden asked. You aren't angry? Edna replied. Angry? Me? McFadden said. Master Caden and I owe you our lives. And we knew that you had the potential to be king. Yet we betrayed the kindness you showed us, and instead chose to sacrifice you. When I think about all the suffering you must have gone through because of that, HNG, forgive me. I've grown old and full of tears. Edna replied. Do collect yourself, McFadden. Ever since I could walk and speak, I followed my mother's orders, from my way of talking to my actions. Nothing in my life was mine. I always had to be quiet, and I could never go against my father. I had to be a mediocre prince, not too brilliant but not too stupid. And even though I was young, that environment made me grow even more timid. I was a child who would walk while staring at the ground. But on that day, when I met you and Caden, that was a big shift for me. That day, I looked up into my father's face for the first time. My mother scolded me a lot though. That day, when I looked up and shouted, that was a special day for me too. That must be why I remembered you so clearly, right? McFadden. Before my mother passed away, she told me how power would consume Caden, and to watch this country fall. In the beginning, that was the reason why I chose to continue living my pathetic life, to watch it all to the end. But now, the Duke said. You're awake? Edna replied. I'm happy now, and the people look happy too. McFadden said. What you all did was right. Edna answered. What you all did was just. I don't resent any of you, nor do I regret helping Caden that day. While drifting to sleep, Edna thought. All the things that make me happy, I'll treasure all of this. Our home. The precious people. And you? I treasure everything. I will definitely protect everything. Someone shouted. Why, Your Grace? 3 years later, Chris said. Your Grace. Your meal has been prepared. Would you like to head back now? Edna said. Thank you, Chris. I'd like to take a look around town after lunch. Will that be all right? Chris said. I'll have the carriage ready. Edna thought. Many things have changed in just 3 years. The once burnt and damaged Westfield has almost fully recovered. It's no longer a town suffering from continual raids. Many professionals and doctors have moved here as well. Now, the streets are full of smiling people. It's mostly thanks to Eli's policy. The guilds that were once troubled by a diminished workforce can now find apprentices without worry. 3 years ago, after Darkfield's unofficial invasion, Eli and McFadden focused on recruiting more soldiers. There's a fine line between fear and admiration. Many young people looking for honor gathered under Eli, the hero of the war. They were then trained and assigned as guards for the merchants. Since they were obligated to report on the status of the roads, more merchants traveled to the city. And it's in the marketplace where rumors spread the fastest. The merchants who traveled to the city talked about how Westfield was supporting various guilds and tradespeople, and about how the guilds were having trouble finding members. Not long after, people started to head for Westfield. On top of that, news about the soldiers guarding the merchants from bandits during their travels began to spread. These days, Westfield is one of the most talked about regions in Oswald. Rhea is currently working as a member of the medical guild. Her medical technique is popular due to its effectiveness. Now, Rhea seems to have finally gotten used to the admiration people have for her. And last year, she and Chris got married, the father said. And you may now kiss the bride. Edna said. You have to make her happy, Chris replied. You don't need to worry about that. Edna thought. Rhea also doesn't cover her scar anymore. Among all these big and small changes, the biggest change for me personally would be. Raoul said. Welcome back, Your Grace. Edna said. Thank you for your hard work, Raoul. Something smells really good. Alex said. Mama. Edna thought. So cute. My son Alex, who will turn 3 soon. Edna said. Hey you. Eli said. I told you not to speak with your mouth full. Alex said. But I want to greet Mama right away. Eli replied. Then you should swallow what's in your mouth first. And finish what's on your fork too. Alex said. I'm done. Eli laughed. Pfft. You should chew your food slowly before swallowing. Edna said. Eli, you shouldn't put your elbows on the table. Right, Alex? Alex replied. Yes. White. Edna thought. I've gotten used to this picture of the 3 of us laughing together. This is probably the biggest change. Eli asked. Will you be going into town later? Edna replied. Yes, since I haven't visited in a while. Eli asked. Will you be all right? You seem tired. Edna replied. Don't worry. I have so much energy now after resting for so long. Eli said. Well, that's a relief. Edna thought. It's unbelievable how happy I am these days. And the sweeter the happiness. Edna said. Eli asked. What is it? Edna continued. The kinder Eli is to me. Then she quickly said. Tea this cookie. It's really good. You should try some here. Eli replied. Oh, sure. Edna thought. I feel my heart growing heavier. Oh no. Again, I couldn't tell him, Alex said while crying. I want to go, Edna said. Alex, I'm not going somewhere fun, you know. Alex replied. I still want to go. You'll have to greet big and strange people, Edna said. But I want to go, Edna thought. Usually, I would have taken Alex even before he started crying. I wonder why. But for some reason, I couldn't tell him to come with me right away. Chris said. Don't worry, Your Grace. We'll be together, so there shouldn't be much trouble. We'll be right by your side, guarding both you and Master Alex, Edna replied. If that's so, Alex, did you hear that? You have to stay with them while I go and talk. All right? Alex said. Yes. Promise. Edna smiled. All right, promise. Edna thought. Right. I'm just going to take a quick look. I'm sure everything will be fine, McFadden said. Something is wrong, Eli said. Edna has been acting weird lately. She'll stop in the middle of telling me something, or she'll try, very obviously, to distract me. She's definitely worried about something, but she won't tell me what it is. Does she feel she can't rely on me for this matter? I don't know what's going on. I hope she won't keep this burden all to herself. A servant said. Here it is, Your Grace. Edna replied. Ah, yes. The silver whip that you requested, good. This looks excellent. I'm sure it wasn't easy, yet you did an amazing job, the servant said. Gosh, don't get me started. It wasn't a simple task to craft silver into delicate threads as thin as that. Smiths, weavers, and even jewel crafters all had to work together. In my 20 years as a blacksmith, I've never made something like this before. How did you come up with the idea of a silver-threaded whip? Edna answered. I received something like this as a gift before. It requires more skill and strength since it's heavier than leather, but it's also more powerful. It'll probably rip through bare skin with just the slightest touch. Strength is necessary in order to protect what's precious. Chris, please take this whip and its box to the carriage. The servant replied. Yes, Your Grace. My wife is the one who weaved the silver thread together. She put in a lot of effort since it was going to be yours, and our daughter wants to be an amazing warrior like you one day. If our workshop can't find a successor, you've played a role in it. Well then, take care, Your Grace. Edna replied. Why, yes. Chris asked. Shall we return to the castle, Your Grace? Edna answered. No, I want to check one more place before we go. Please head to the church. Edna thought. An amazing warrior. I've never thought of myself as such. And I've never heard that from someone else either. It's a bit embarrassing, but I'm happy. The king said. It's time. You've had a lot of fun with the king on your side, Eli. Westfield has grown strong enough that it doesn't even resemble its former self. How excellent. I'll take it all. Everything you've cared about, but before that, there's a debt to collect. Edna continued thinking. A debt, a life, for a life. Many people were walking toward the church. Edna said. Oh my, there are so many people. Are they all pilgrims? Noel said. Yes, Your Grace. Edna replied. Friar Noel. I almost didn't recognize you. Noel laughed. Haha, I didn't want to greet our guests looking shabby. The construction isn't finished yet, but since a few days ago, the church has been partially opened to the public. Many are visitors from faraway towns. Seems like people needed a place to pray. Everyone wants to have faith. And the people of Westfield all went through a tough experience together. I'm sure even those who didn't witness it themselves, or those who don't know the truth, all felt it in their hearts, that someone is protecting us. Edna said. This is so embarrassing. Noel smiled and replied. Haha, but it's all true. Edna said. You've changed a lot, Friar Noel. You're a different person from before. Noel answered. Is that so? To me, it just feels like I've returned to who I was. But if Your Grace feels that way, I suppose that must mean I've become much more peaceful. Just like Westfield, I want to thank God for sending you to Westfield. Edna replied. Well, that was also a blessing for me, Noel said. Oh dear. I should have shown you inside instead of talking out here. Construction is still going on, but do take a look, Edna said. Yes, thank you. Ritual, I'll be checking the inside of the church with Chris. There will be a lot of dangerous objects there, and I don't want to bother the workers. So could you go to the public area with Alex? Ritual replied. Yes, Your Grace. Now, young master, shall we go take a look over there? Alex asked. And Mama? Edna smiled. Mama is going to work for a moment. Will you wait for me? Alex answered. All right. Noel reassured them. There's no need to worry. The area isn't blocked off, so you can see the public area even from inside. Edna kissed Alex and said, Did you hear that, Alex? Just watch Mama working in there, all right? Noel continued. The stained glass windows will go here. Edna said. It'll surely be amazing. Anyone who sees it will feel happiness. Meanwhile, Ritra looked around and said, This is quite the crowd. Right, young master? Now. And watching may be fun, but let's go see your mother. Alex happily replied. Wah. Suddenly a man said, Oh, excuse. And without warning, the killer plunged a knife into Ritual's stomach. Ritual cried out. K. Panic erupted through the crowd as people screamed. Aag. As someone collapsed. My gosh! He's covered in blood. Hearing the commotion, Chris ran toward Ritual and shouted. Ritual! Ritual! Ritual, wake up! People frantically looked around, asking, Where? Where is he? Edna's face turned pale as she shouted. Where's Alex? Chris shouted. Ritual! Don't die! Come on! Ritual weakly replied. Quiet, or I'll die from my ears bleeding! Chris exclaimed. You're awake? Ritual said. Sorry, Your Grace. They took the young master. Edna gasped. Ritual continued. Disguised as pilgrims, they headed towards the west gate. Be careful, there may be more of them. Call for more salty, K. Edna cried out. Ritual, she thought. No. By then it'll be too late. Once they leave this territory, it's over. They probably have horses waiting somewhere nearby. I can't have them reach that far. Edna turned to Chris and said, Chris, please take care of Ritual. Confused, Chris replied. Huh! Edna continued. I saw Friar Noel calling for a doctor. And this caused a commotion, so soldiers will arrive soon. Please stay by his side until then. I will chase after those men, Chris protested. You can't, Your Grace. We don't know how many there are. It's too dangerous, Edna answered firmly. I must go. It's all right. You know what I'm capable of. I'll leave first, so tell the soldiers to close the gates and stop anyone from crossing, Chris pleaded. Please! Oh. But she had already left. As she ran, Edna thought, it's unlikely that this is a simple kidnapping. They specifically chose Alex out of all those people. They know who we are. And they're not from our town. Ritual would have been able to recognize them. An outsider, but still someone who knows our status and approached us specifically. It's probably someone sent by Count Polit. He hasn't been staying completely low, but until now he was relatively quiet. Was that all a front? No, I have to stop thinking. I can't be sure, but it's true that I was careless. I must find Alex first. Please be safe, my baby. Meanwhile, Chris thought, this is the worst. Not only did I fail to protect Master Alex, but now I'm holding Chris back. My vision is getting blurry. I can't feel my hands or feet. Ritual muttered. Hey Chris, stop fidgeting here and go follow Her Grace. Quickly. Chris replied. What are you talking about? How can I just leave you here like this? The doctor is coming, so... Ritual interrupted. I'm fine. Chris answered. You are not fine. Ritual shouted. I said I'm fine. Chris frowned. What are you yelling for? You. Ritual said quietly. Rhea, take care of her. Chris looked at him and said, You better stay awake. Just wait here. I'll be right back. Wait here, all right? You have to stay here. You have to. After Chris rushed away, Ritual gave a faint smile and muttered. Humph, that idiot. All right, I'll wait. Take your time, the commander said to the killer. Were you followed? The killer replied. No. The commander asked. How's the kid? The killer answered. He was crying and wailing for a while, but it looks like he's tired himself out and quieted down. It was tough bringing him here without getting noticed. The commander said. Hey, he better not be dead in there. The count wanted him alive. Open the bag and check? The killer complained. Geez, what a pain, here. See? He's fine, okay? The commander said. All right. Let's get him on a horse. We've got a long way to go. What does the count want with such a small kid anyway? The killer replied. Who are we to understand how nobles think? We just have to do as we're told. Suddenly Alex bit his finger and screamed. Awa! Hey! What's wrong with you? The commander shouted. Grr. Let go! Alex cried. LGH, mama! The killer panicked. You wah! The commander muttered. Darn, that surprised me. The killer said. What are you going to do? He's at it again. Alex cried. Mama! The commander suddenly said. That's the sound of hooves. Did they find us? The killer answered. I don't know. Just get the kid. Where'd you leave the horses? The commander replied. Right over there. The others are waiting too, the killer asked. How many are after us? The commander said. Judging by the sound, not too many. Looks like it's just one. The commander realized. That's the Duchess. It's the Duchess. The killer laughed. Ha ha. She must have gone crazy because of her son. This is great, the commander ordered. Let's grab her and take her to the count. Suddenly, Alex shouted. Mama! And Edna appeared calling. Alex? The killer asked. Hey, what's going on? The commander said. Oh, good. You're here! People screamed. Ack! Half of his face is gone. Who's that woman? It's the Duchess. Really? That's great. We can take her too. That's what I thought. But that woman, something's off about her. A soldier rushed in. My lord! It's an emergency. Another officer warned. Don't yell in the presence of His Grace. The soldier apologized. My apologies. The Duke said. No, it's fine. Go on. The soldier reported. Well, Chris sent word that an unidentified man kidnapped the young master, Ritral, who was looking after Master Alex, died in the ambush. The Duchess and Chris went after them, but we must send more. The Duke thought. I should have gone with them. These years of peace have made me careless. Alex! Edna! Please don't do anything rash, please. Meanwhile, the commander shouted. You've injured my subject, and what's more. Edna coldly replied. You've hurt my son. Don't beg me for mercy, Chris said, Your Grace. Are you all right? Are they? Edna said. Chris. The men sent by Count Politics. What about Ritral? Chris said. I see. The kidnapper shouted. Come on. She's got backup. We have to take care of them before more arrive. Chris said. Kaya. Alex cried. Mama. Edna said. Chris, take care of Alex. Chris said. What? Your Grace. Eli thinking that sounds like swords. It's close. Are they in battle? It'll be tough for Chris alone. Where are they? Over there. Edna. Alex. I'm coming. Just wait a little bit longer, just wait for me. Edna attacked the kidnapper soldier. The soldier said whoa. Edna defeated him and caught him. The soldier screamed a dash. A dash. Edna said to Chris, Chris, how's Alex? Chris said he isn't injured. Now that he feels safe, he fell asleep. Duke Eli arrived and called, Edna? Edna, is that really you? Edna said, Eli, how did you? Eli asked all of this, you did. Chris wanted to explain and said, my lord. I can explain, Eli said angrily. Chris. Take Alex and return to the castle. I will question you later. Chris said, but Eli replied, shut up. Edna, I want to hear it directly from you. Duke Eli said, I want to hear it directly from you. Edna said, Chris, take Alex. Chris said, Your Grace. Edna replied, it's all right. I'll see you back at the castle. Chris said, Your Grace, I understand. I'll head back first. Edna began telling him, where should I begin? When I first came to Westfield, I was Edna, a maid working for a viscount. But when I met you, I had become the illegitimate daughter of that viscount in order to survive. Yet none of those identities were true. Eli, from the moment I was born, I was given two names. One is the name you know, Edna. The other is Eden. The Prince of Ulswald, Prince Eden. Eli said, Prince? But you're, Edna said, I'm a woman. Right. That's why I had to lie. In order to survive in a palace ruled by my father, believe me. I wasn't planning on lying to you forever. I've been meaning to tell you, but I couldn't muster up enough courage. I don't know if you can forgive me, but, no, even if you don't forgive me, please, know this. After Eden died, I was nothing. I was a ghost, living only because I had not yet died. Right now, I can live as Edna all thanks to you. You're the one who gave me life. You're the one who saved me. So, please. Eli thought to himself, Prince Eden, I conquered that palace, sword in hand. At the Viscount's castle, how scary it must have been. How tough it must have been. The fear that comes from being tossed into a new life. I should know firsthand how painful that is. Back then, I had McFadden and Caden with me. But for Edna, Eli said, it's all right. You don't need to beg for forgiveness. I could never be angry at you. Instead, I have a lot more things I should be begging you for forgiveness for. Looks like we should spend a long time talking to each other today. Let's go home. Kiefer, Chris, and McFadden said, My lord, we can explain everything. McFadden said, Her Grace would never try to harm you, my lord. Eli said, Huh? Kiefer said, If you wish to kill her, then kill me instead. Chris said, Chop off my head too. They all said at the same time, Mercy. My lord! Have mercy. Eli said, Hey, what is going on? They said, My lord. Please, you mustn't hurt her. Eli shouted, Ack. Enough. Stop it, all of you. Why would I hurt Edna? And how did you all hear about? You all knew about this? They replied, Ha, unbelievable. Eli said to them, And you call yourselves knights? Did you all forget the vows of loyalty you swore before me? They said, We became knights only recently, so, Eli said, Shut up. They replied, Yes. Eli continued, It's one thing for you guys to lie to me. But even you, McFadden? You of all people hid the truth from me. McFadden said, Please forgive me, my lord. For going against my vows as a knight, I shall offer you my life. Eli said, Ha, whatever? I understand. I heard that Prince Eden once saved Caden. Since you're stubborn, you couldn't possibly reveal the secret of one you're indebted to. McFadden said, Precisely, my lord. Eli said, But if you had all told me earlier, I could have supported Edna more. Edna said, Eli. McFadden didn't tell you because I had also asked him not to. Eli said, You did? Edna replied, Because if people find out who I am, you will be forced into a difficult position. Eli said, Edna? A soldier asked, Oh, right? Sorry for interrupting this sweet mood, but, about the assailant who kidnapped the young master. He said some concerning things while we were questioning him. Eli said, Why didn't you mention that sooner? He replied with a smile, Well, once I heard you found out about her identity, I completely forgot. Eli said, So what did he say that was so concerning? He replied, Well, first the man admitted that he was sent by Count Politics, but during questioning he said, The real war is about to begin. Eli said, War? He can have his wish. The moment the Count laid a hand on my family, there was no way I would let him off easily. The soldier said, There's more? The kidnapping was bait, Chris said, Bait. Then that means, Edna said, Bait. If Alex and I were bait, the one who would bite would be Eli. If Westfield goes to war with Darkfield, Eli will be tied down here. And if the capital is ambushed at a time like that, then Caden won't have anyone to protect his back, Eli. This incident was a small form of personal revenge for the Count. His real purpose is a bigger war. Kiefer said, But would the Count have that much power? To hit both Westfield and the capital would require, Eli said, a third party. It wouldn't be easy to gather such a force within Oswald. After Caden rose to power, the first thing we made sure to do was execute all of those who supported Duquesne. And there's a limit to how many hands one can buy with money alone. Judging by our relationships with neighboring countries and Oswald's current status, it's most likely that he formed an alliance with Beowald. Edna said, That's correct. They neglected us during Caden's rise to power, but still their princess was killed. They have an excuse to be angry at the current royal court, regardless of whether it's honest or just part of a scheme. Eli said, "Darn it. What a mess you've made, Count Polit. We must head to the capital. Caden is in danger." Kiefer sent a message by bird. Eli asked, "Did you send a messenger bird?" Kiefer replied, "Yes. It's a moonless night, so I sent a crow. Even if there are eyes on the sky, they won't be able to notice it." Eli said, "I see. That's a relief." Kiefer said, "So it's really going to happen again? A revolt?" Eli said, "Ha! This won't be an easy fight. Make sure you're prepared. How strange. After I decided to live under the name Eli, there was never a battle I feared. But now, I'm afraid." Eli thought, "I keep worrying, and I keep thinking about their faces." Eli said, "So this is the weight of a life that has those to protect." Kiefer said, "It's good to have something precious." Eli said, "Keep this a secret from McFadden. That old man is too dramatic." Kiefer said, "Haha, as you wish." Caden received the message from the crow and read it. Then he called, "Toy, are you there?" Toy replied, "Yes, Your Majesty. You've awoken." Caden said, "Toy, according to Duke Eli, Count Polit seems to be preparing for a revolt." Toy said, Then another war will begin." Caden replied, "I hope it's not true. Count Polit wouldn't be able to start a revolt by himself. Eli suspects that Beowald has a hand in this." Toy asked, "Beowald meaning?" Caden explained, "Queen Cecil's younger brother recently rose to the throne as the new king. Queen Cecil's homeland. He hasn't been in power for long, so his influence over the court is still unstable. It may be similar to me, or even worse, but still, with the help of Count Polit, if they hit us from the outside and from within as well, the outcome would be unpredictable." Toy said, "A war." Caden said, "Toy, do you think, if I accept that marriage proposal from before, it would help us win this war?" Toy replied, "That would definitely help. Marriage is the fastest way of building a strong alliance." Caden said, "When I saw Eli last time, I couldn't believe he was the same person that I once knew. If love can change a person that much, I wonder if I could also fall in love." Toy said, "Your Majesty." Caden replied, I know that this is just wishful thinking. How should I say it? I've been thinking about this for a while now. That this place is not my own." Toy said, "Your Majesty?" Caden continued, "The royal court is still unstable, and we are still getting pressure from the outside. All because there was someone who was more fit to be here." Toy said, "Your Majesty." Caden said, "No, it's nothing. Looks like I'm a bit tired. Really. I'm alright. A message from Caden arrived. There was no need to investigate. Judging by the towns near the border, all the men had already been drafted. None could be found roaming the streets. This is different from the recruitment they normally do as a show of power. There is a war coming." Eli said, "You were right." Edna said, "I see. In the end, you're aware, Eli, about Rhea. She's with child. Alex was really attached to Ritral. If he was here to be with that child, he would have been a great uncle. Ritral died protecting Alex. But I'm so selfish, all I can think about is, what if during this war you happen to get hurt, or die? If that happens, how will I live on? That's all I can think about. Aren't I foolish? I'm so scared, I'm not going to stop you from going. You are the sword and shield of Oswald, so you must protect Caden and the people. But please, be safe, and come back to us. Eli said. Yes. I promise. A soldier said. Hey, look at that! That light, it has to be them. There must be a large party camping over there. You! Hurry and warn the main. Before he could finish, enemy soldiers attacked the messenger. Huh! An enemy said. Ack! The soldier shouted. How dare you! The soldier thought, what should I do? I have to warn everyone. But the bell is behind them. Fine. Here goes nothing. I'm going to die here anyway. The soldier shouted. Cook! G.H. An enemy soldier struck him down. Kian and McFadden witnessed the attack. Chris rushed to Eli and said, The Count is here with his troops. They're crossing Chester Forest. Sir McFadden and Sir Kian are gathering our forces. Judging by the enemy's movements, they're headed toward the plain that's near the forest. Edna said, Plain? Eli said, Close combat. How dare you challenge me to a fight at short range? Looks like he's quite confident. Chris, bring me my armor. He chose the wrong person to pick a fight with. I'll make him regret it, Eli said. Send a message to each town. Call all the people into the castle. Send a message to Caden as well. The enemy will try to shoot down the birds, so send as many as we can. Chris said, Yes, my lord. Eli said, Everything must be done before sunrise. Hurry! Edna said, I'll take care of the people. You should focus on your troops. Eli said, I'll leave that to you then. What of the catapults? Are they ready? Someone replied, We'll need a few more days. Edna said, Eli! Your promise. You have to keep your promise. Eli said, Yes. With my life. Edna said, Raoul! Raoul, you've heard the news, right? Raoul said, Yes, my lady. The whole castle is preparing for the emergency. Edna said, We'll need places for the refugees to stay. Gather everyone and tell them to build tents and distribute food. The fight with the Count shouldn't take long. Both sides will be going head to head, so the result will be clear soon. But that also means we will lose many. Raoul, you are one of the people that I trust the most. And because I trust your capabilities, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Please take care of Alex, Raoul. Raoul said, Oh, you can't, my lady. You should stay by his side at a time like this. Edna said, Yes. I know that, but... Edna thought, but... Edna said, There are other things that I must do. And there are things that I can do. I won't protect just Alex, I will protect everyone. As Edna walked through the gallery, she thought, This feels strange. This reminds me of that day. Edna came to Alex and said, Alex. Alex. Alex said, Mama. Is it morning? Edna said, No, not yet. I'm sorry for waking you up. Actually, Alex, I have a favor to ask. Alex said, Huh? A favor? Edna said, Alex. Mama and Papa have to go far away for a while. But Raoul will be with you just like Mama and Papa would. Will you behave and be a nice boy for Raoul? Alex said, No. Edna said, Alex. Alex said, You said you'd be back soon. But those strangers came and took me away. Even Uncle Rittrell. He's not back yet 'cause those strangers hurt him. I don't want to be alone. I want to be with Mama. Edna thought, seeing the tears flowing down my child's cheeks makes my heart ache so much. Was this how Mother felt? Back then, when she pushed me away? Edna gently touched his cheek and said, "It's all right. Don't cry, my baby." Edna thought, "But I'm different from my mother. I am not going to die." Edna said, "I'll definitely come back." Edna thought, "I am going to protect everyone. My family, my people, Eli, Alex, and everyone else. Because I am Edna, and I am also Eden. I will definitely come back to you." In the camp, Eli said, "Looks like this won't be as easy as I thought. They've brought more soldiers than I expected. They're not good, but there are too many surrounding the Count." Kian said, "We won the first 2 battles that took place after setting up camp. Yet I can't help but feel that they are intentionally staying on the defensive." Eli said, "I agree. If they're purposely wasting time, they must be up to something else." Kian said, "My lord, a message from the capital." Eli said, "Bring it here." Eli thought, "I've heard. So the war begins again. It's suspicious how Beowulf is quiet even though the Count has shown his strength. But don't worry. I've contacted the loyal houses, and they're sending their armies. For now, focus on the Count. Caden." Eli said, "Beowulf is quiet." Kian said, "That's odd. Was our prediction wrong?" Eli said, "It could be. But judging by the situation, they're definitely conspiring together. Most of all, my gut is telling me so." Kian asked, "Your gut?" Eli said, "You got a problem with that?" Kian said, "I agree with your opinion, but I'm put off to hear that it's based on a gut feeling. And I'm put off by your honesty, ahem. Anyway, the Count and Beowulf are definitely together on this. And it must be true since Her Grace also thought the same. Absolute trust." Eli asked, "Then the question is, what are they after?" Kian said, "Shall we monitor them further?" Eli said, "No, whatever their plan is, I won't give them more time to scheme. Prepare for a full-on attack. If they stand before us, we will break through and continue. Let's show them why everyone feared the army of the human butcher." A washer said, "You should rest a bit, doctor. You're pregnant now." Rhea said, "Oh my, do people already know?" The washer replied, "It's just among us. It is our job to be aware of other people's conditions, after all." Rhea said, "Don't worry about me. I'm not foolish enough to forget about my own health." The washer said, "I knew you'd say that." Rhea said, "Besides, I don't want to stay still and do nothing. I feel better being active. And everyone who worked with Ritral, I want them to be safe. There are a lot of wounded. I wonder how many more will get injured." The washer said, "I'm a bit scared. The Lord is known to win every battle, but I just can't help myself. I keep thinking that I would feel safer if Lady Edna was here, but I know she can't be here since it's too dangerous." Rhea thought, scared. Rhea suddenly shouted, "My lady? My lady, why are you here? This carriage is going straight to the battlefield." Edna said, "Rhea!" Rhea said, "And why are you dressed like that?" Edna said, "Quiet down a bit." Rhea said, "No, I won't. I'm responsible for your safety, Anne." Edna quickly covered Rhea's mouth. Edna whispered, "Please be quiet, I'll get caught." Rhea said, "Then why are you doing something that forces you to hide?" Edna said, I heard that the catapults aren't dry enough to be of any use, so I thought maybe I can be of some use, and wanted to take a look." Rhea said, "Of course you'd be a great help. But you don't have to be in the middle of it all, it's so dangerous. And as long as we have our lord, Westfield won't lose." Edna said. Well, I do believe in Eli. But I want things to end as safely as possible. Unlike us, the Count's territory has never suffered from an attack. Their siege weapons and battle horses will all be safe and reliable. If they decide to attack the castle with those weapons, we would have no means of defense. And if Beowulf is involved in this war, we can't predict what will come next. This fight must end in that field, and the catapults are essential for accomplishing that goal. Edna gently shook Rhea's shoulders and said, Please, Rhea! Don't tell Eli. Rhea said, Then you have to return to the castle once the catapults are ready. Edna said, All right. Rhea asked, You promise? Edna replied, I promise. Although I should be the one making you promise. Rhea said, Her Grace is at the castle. Rhea thought, 3 years gone and she hasn't changed at all. The washer said, Well, yes, there's nothing to worry about. Rhea thought, She's here with us. Rhea said, We'll win. Rhea thought, There's no room for fear. All were gathered on the battlefield as the siren rang across the camp, and every soldier prepared for battle. Eli said, Right now, for some of you, it may have been a long time since you've last seen battle. And for some of you, this may be your first fight. Some of you are probably scared of getting injured, while some of you may think of this as a mark of honor. But there is one thing that we all have: anger. They have terrorized our land countless times. They hid amongst us, disguising themselves, while bringing harm to our people and our property. Don't forget that anger. We won't give them anything else. Even one life is not worth wasting on them. Stay alive, and win. It's time for revenge. Eli signaled the attack, and all the soldiers let out a deafening battle cry as they charged forward. On the other side, a soldier shouted, My lord! The Duke's army is approaching. Hayden said, Humph. He's always quick to notice, I see. Our backup would have arrived in a few days. The soldier replied, He must be planning to finish things before then. Hayden said, Good. We will see whose head falls first, butcher. Eli said, They're not coming. As I thought. It's going as the Count planned. I should have moved faster. Meanwhile, Caden thought, in Eli's message, he warned that there may already be soldiers waiting in ambush. So he urged me to summon all the lords as quickly as possible. I tried my best, but got delayed by 1 day due to the council meeting. But that 1 day turned out to be critical. Caden said, Toy, summon the council. Let everyone know that this is urgent. Toy replied, Yes. A moment later, Toy shouted, Your Majesty! You must see this! This horse was standing by itself in front of the gate without a rider. The soldiers thought it was suspicious and searched it. It was carrying this pouch. Toy exclaimed, Your Majesty! You! Put that away now! Caden said, That's the spy I personally sent to Beowulf. Not much time has passed since his last message, so he must have been found not too long after. Bury him on hallowed ground. Toy said, Yes. Caden asked, Toy. He said the horse was standing in front of the gate by itself? Toy replied, Yes, Your Majesty. Caden said, This isn't the time for a council meeting. Call the royal army. The enemy is near. Pull up the bridge, and don't let a soul in or out. Prepare for a siege, boss thinking. The ground shaking. Edna said, The battle must have begun. Chase said, The rumbling can be heard all the way here, on the other side of the forest. I wonder if everyone who went ahead of us are all right. Edna said, We must hope that they are. We managed to finish in time, so the catapults will be of great help when they arrive. Why are you staring at me like that? Chase said. Nothing, just I was thinking, how amazing you are. Edna said. What? Not at all, I wasn't helpful during the actual operation. Chase said. But you were. Being helpful doesn't always mean you have to have a hand in the hard labor. And you have an amazing talent in another area. You can calm people, my lady. You keep us steady even when times are difficult, just like now. Even when I'm afraid, I calm down once I see you. You really help us a lot. Edna said. I'm happy to hear that. And thank you, Chase. You organized and managed everything that needed to be done. Chase said. I have to do my part. Edna said. We're almost done here. You should hurry to the shelter, Chase. Chase said. Yes, I'll take the carriage. You're coming too, right? It's dangerous for you to stay here. Edna said. Yes, I'll be. A soldier said. Your Grace, I think you should come see this. Edna said. What happened? The soldier said. He suddenly came through the bushes while we were getting the carriage ready. Judging by his attire, he might be one of our soldiers. Edna said. Can you hear me? What happened? The soldier said. Bad. This is bad. I have to inform the Lord. The path on the border leading to the capital. We tried to stop them, but failed. There were criminals hiding there. Everyone sacrificed their lives so that I could escape. Ugh, I have to tell this to the Lord. Edna said. Chase. Take this boy to the castle and get him treated. And get a horse ready. Edna thinking. Criminals waiting in ambush. No, they're not criminals. They're soldiers the Count sent to ambush us. We warned Caden, but the Count was faster. This war no longer depends on the outcome of that field. Regardless of the result there, the Count and his soldiers will flee. They've set their sights on Caden. The battle with Eli was a trap. Were they planning to waste our time in order to corner Caden? Edna said. How dare you? Edna thinking. You dare to use our land as bait to start a war? There's a limit to how bold one can be. And as if I would let that happen. We will win this battle, and save Caden. But this battle must end as soon as possible in order to do so. I'll do that with my own 2 hands. Raoul asked. My lady! You're back? I was so worried. Edna said. Sorry, Raoul. It must have been tiring on your own. Raoul said. Not at all. Everyone helped out, so there wasn't much for me to do. Edna said. I'm sorry for asking this so suddenly, but Raoul, I need as many empty bottles as can be found in the castle. Raoul said. Pardon? Edna said. And gather as much cloth as possible. And prepare enough oil to fill those bottles as well. We have to make fire bombs. Raoul said. My lady. All the ladies said. What's going on? Fire bombs. Edna said. Everyone, we need your help. At the battlefield, a heavy war was raging. Eli said. Ah, my helmet. Eli thinking. They're too clumsy to be considered trained soldiers. This is strange. Did the Count really expect to start a war with these men? Philon said. My lord! Eli asked. Philon. Did you figure out where the Count is? Philon said. Yes. It appears he is staying still, at the rear. And, excuse me, but the soldiers from the Count there. Eli said. Yes, I noticed as well. A lot of them do not have enough training to be called soldiers. There. Jamie shouted. Oh, over there! The Duke! Get him! Bring his head to the Count! Eli kicked Jamie and said, Bring whose head to who? Jamie knelt down and said, "Forgive us. Please have mercy." Eli said, "These soldiers don't have the necessary mentality or skills." Philon said, "True." Jamie said, "We're not part of this war because we want to be. Most of us are farmers who have never held a sword before. But the Count threatened to kill our families if we didn't join." Suddenly, someone shot Jamie in the back with an arrow. An enemy shouted, "Jamie!" The enemy said, "Jamie, wake up!" Another enemy said, what do we do?" Jamie said, "It hurts." Eli said, "You all, remove your helmets." The enemy said, "What?" Eli said, "Now." All of them removed their helmets. Eli said, "They're children. Philon, did you happen to see who shot that arrow?" Philon said, "Yes. A soldier of the Count. Perhaps they wanted him to stop talking." Eli said, "Ha, really? This is ridiculous. Show me where the Count is. I will end this war now." An enemy soldier shouted, "My lord, the Duke is headed this way." Count Polit asked, "It took him long enough. Is he killing the soldiers?" The enemy replied, "No. He's stopping them by injuring them and nothing more." Count Polit laughed loudly and said, "What a comedy!" An enemy soldier said, "Did you retire from being the butcher, Eli?" Eli said, "Darn it, move!" The enemy said, "You could have caught me if you marched in here, killing them all." Count Polit said, "How funny! What a show, Eli! That pitiful mercy of yours will be the death of your king. After 2 to 3 days, we'll win. Let's go! Have the others stand in for us as we head to the capital." Chris said, "You're running away like a coward, Count Politics. I won't let things go as you've planned." Chris shouted, "Throw it! Don't let them leave!" Enemy said, "My lord, they were waiting for us." Eli said, "What's the commotion?" Chris said, "It's the Count and his soldiers." Eli said, "Did he get caught while trying to flee? Coward! And who are those people? I didn't order anyone to lie in ambush." Polit said, "Fools! Don't get bogged down by these imbeciles. Give me that. Look at them. They're not even regular soldiers. They won't even know what to do if the one giving orders is eliminated." Chris shouted, "Don't stop. Keep throwing. Just cut down the head." Polit pointed an arrow toward Chris and shot. When the arrow struck the helmet was pulled down, and everyone saw that she was Edna. Hyden smiled. Eli said, "Edna." Chris said, "My lady! Are you all right?" Edna said, "I'm fine. My helmet fell off, that's all. We must continue our attack and—" Chris said, my lady!" Polit struck his sword toward Edna, and Edna blocked it. Edna thought, "Count Polit? But why?" Polit shouted, "Eden!" Edna thought, "What? Did he just—" Eli shouted, "Edna! Darn it! Get out of my way! Edna!" Polit said, "Now that I can see you from up close, I'm sure of it. How are you alive, Eden?" Edna shouted, "Stop being ridiculous. Prince Eden is dead. You should know this after seeing the bodies." Polit said, "Ah, yes. I watched those bodies dangle for a long time. Yet I can tell in an instant. Do you think I'd forget those accursed golden eyes, those accursed symbols of the blood of decaying that I so despise. Why are you still alive, Eden? My daughter and wife are dead because of your father. So why are you, his blood, still alive? Edna thought. Count Polet, to think he hated my father this much. Eli, the one who he thinks killed his son, is right in front of his eyes. And he's supposed to head to the capital. Yet he chose to draw his sword against me first. That's how much he treasured his family. Then, that's all the more reason why I can't forgive you. Edna swung her sword and said, Come. You are the leftover pus from my father. I will take care of you with my own hands. Edna and Polet started fighting. Edna said, I heard you were the best fighter on the battlefield during my father's reign. It seems you haven't grown rusty. Polet said, Humph, enough. Hearing such praise from a girl means nothing to me. So Prince Eden was really a girl, and now, she's raising a child with a commoner, a story fitting a comedy, I'd say. Edna said, and those who say such things are never known as great people. Which is quite true for you, Count Politics. Isn't that why you blame all of your tragedies on us? Polet said. Blame? No, I don't just blame you. You are in fact the very reason why my family has fallen. Eli murdered my sons and left me without an heir. And your father murdered my wife and daughter. So how can I not blame and resent you too? Edna shouted. Then why? Why didn't you stop my father? Polet said. What? Edna said. You knew that my father was exploiting the people of this country. Yet you didn't stop him, nor did you give him counsel. Instead, you went so far as to offer him women from other families. Polet said. You were the same. Edna shouted. Yes, I was the same. I feared my father. So I purposely ignored my father's crimes in order to save myself. And my mother passed away. And that is retribution. That is the cost we paid for turning our eyes away from injustice, all for our own benefit. Polet said. Then, are you saying that my daughter and wife died because of me? Edna said. The one who harmed your daughter was my father. And so you took up arms to drive him out. You succeeded, and got your revenge for your daughter and your wife. That's where you should have stopped. But once your revenge was over, the greed that was hiding behind your sadness finally surfaced. If your family was so precious to you, Edna clanged her sword and said, then why didn't you consider that the pain you suffered was also the pain of others? Why did you plunder and harass the people of Westfield after the war? Why do you blame others for your misfortune? Why must you harm those around you? You coat your petty greed with revenge, but in fact, your land, your territory, and your power, it was those things that strangled you and your sons. I loathe you, father. Polet said. Shut up, shut up. Polet shouted. It's not my fault. You all are the culprits who ruined everything. Edna's foot slipped, and she thought. A slope. This is dangerous, I'll fall. Eli came there, supported Edna, and said, You must end this. Edna thought. Count Politics, your tragedy began the moment you denied your true emotions. You didn't escape. You yourself chose to stand here, at this moment, and face me with a sword, because you couldn't stand the thought of not hating me or Eli. You couldn't be honest and apologize. Because you're too much of a coward. Edna slashed Polet's face. After slashing his face, Edna said, Ha, enemy said, what just happened? Other enemy said, Is Count Polet dead? Then, what do we do now? Eli said, Edna. Eli removed his helmet and said, Edna. Edna said, Eli, so it really was you. I thought. It was just my imagination. Eli run and said, Edna. Edna run and said, Eli. Eli said, What are you doing here? Didn't I tell you to wait back at the castle? And what's with that attire? Edna said, But Eli said you were here, fighting with all your might, when you shouldn't have been. Please don't scare me like that. Edna wobbled and said, Huh? Eli said, Edna? Eli said, Are you all right? Are you hurt? Edna said, I'm all right. Just looking at you made my legs go weak. Eli said, Count Polet is a wimp. Why did you struggle against him so much? You were so sloppy. Edna said sloppy? I wonder. Perhaps he wasn't that strong. But I wonder why. Perhaps it's because I haven't worn armor in a very long time. It's heavy. It's so heavy. The weight of war, Eli said. That's right. Eli gave her hand and got her up and said, let's go end this together. It's heavy. Caden said, I'll never get used to this kind of heavy armor no matter how many times I wear it. I'm not cut out for this, I suppose? Toy said, don't say that, Your Majesty. You claimed victory in the fiercest war of them all. God's will is with you, so there's nothing to fear. Caden said, thank you. You always give me courage. But the situation is worse than I expected. Our enemies have arrived. Yet my army hasn't even finished gathering. And my most trusted sword is not here. To be honest, the outlook is grim. Toy said, even if your trusted sword is not here, most of the people in this castle right now are the ones who believe in you the most. They will protect you, Your Majesty. Do not worry. Caden said, well, this is quite embarrassing. I'm not fully confident, but Caden lifted his sword and said, I will also protect you all. Chris came there and shouted, Your Majesty. Your Majesty. Your Majesty, it's dangerous here. The enemy has infiltrated the castle. You must join the royal guard now. Caden thought, I can do this, just like my brother. Caden thought, I can do this. Caden asked, where are the enemies? Chris said, we're still locating them. Caden said, where did this information come from? There must have been an informant. Chris said, we will explain everything once we reach the royal guard. For now, it's crucial that you stay safe, Your Majesty. Toy whispered and said, Your Majesty, this is a bit. Caden said, Yes, something's off. Caden thought, I haven't seen any guards for a while now. Chris said, this way, Your Majesty. Caden thought, oh, the soldiers. Looks like I didn't have to worry. Captain said, Your Majesty. Caden said, Captain. Caden asked, what is going on? Where are the enemies? And where are the other troops? Captain said, we heard that our foes were climbing the walls. Enemy loads crossbow and fires, and Toy said, Your Majesty. Watch out, arrow pierces Toy's head and arrow hits Caden's leg. Captain said, haha. That's no good, Your Majesty. Didn't I always tell you to wear chain mail on your legs as well, no matter how bothersome? Because we all know leather armor isn't enough to block arrows. Caden said, hold, are you betraying us? Captain said, betraying you, Your Majesty? I've been a mercenary from the beginning. I just go where the profit is. Once this is over, I'll move to be a walled and become a lord. I'll even get married to a princess. That's a proper promotion. Do you remember this scar on my face, Your Majesty? I got injured while protecting you during the war. Back then, I was scared of General Eli, but I also admired him. So I didn't have any qualm about it. But after the war was over, I kept thinking how unfair this was. Someone became a lord of the largest land in this country, while here I am, just the captain of the royal guard, with a big scar on my face that will remain until I die. Don't you think that's unfair? Caden thought, Toy, even if your trusted sword is not here, most of the people in this castle right now are the ones who believe in you the most. They will protect you, Your Majesty. Caden thought, my comrades, who have fought by my side, have betrayed me. Yet Toy is the one who believed in me and protected me until the end. Did you know? The captain of the royal guard is a title bestowed only to the most experienced soldier of the most honorable house. That is what I gave you, yet you say it wasn't enough. You don't deserve that title. And I won't let you take my life with it. I will live. Captain said, live? But how, Your Majesty? Have you forgotten where we are? This is the strongest fort in Elswald. The castle of Queen Cecil. As long as we have command over this castle, Caden dashed but enemy attacked with arrow, and the arrow hit his shoulder. Captain said, not even Eli's father, nor grandfather, will be able to enter within. Eli came there and punched the captain and said, oh, really? Well, unfortunately, I'm already here. Caden woke up from the bed and thought, I'm still alive. In the end, I'm unable to do anything on my own. I couldn't even protect my people, Caden said, pathetic. Edna said, oh, are you awake? It's not good to move around too much. You might feel fine now, since we applied some herbs to your wounds to reduce the pain, but you were shot by 2 arrows. Eli left to take care of the army that was outside the castle. Caden thought Eli? Eli said, I thank God, I thank God. Caden thought, ah, I see. Caden asked, you must be Edna, I presume? How is this possible? You are, your face is definitely. But how besides, Edna, your name? Edna replied, there's a secret passage. It's inside the room that was burned down. That's how I escaped the castle that day, and today, I entered the castle through that passage. This is the second time. Caden said, this is the second time you have saved my life. Caden kneeled down in front of Edna. Edna said, what are you doing? Please get up. Caden said, I must apologize. You saved me, and instead of paying you back, I took your place. However, I cannot return this throne to you. I may be a coward and an incompetent king, but Edna said, I wasn't trying to do a favor for you. In fact, I want to thank you for staying alive. You are the rightful owner of this throne and crown. I speak as your subject. Please lead this country. Caden wiped his eyes filled with tears and said, yes. I will gladly do so. Eli asked, you're done talking? Edna said, oh, Eli? Is the negotiation already over? Eli said, They retreated the moment I told them about Count Polit's death. Our army and soldiers who were held back are also slowly gathering now. So they know there's not much to gain from a full-on war. Edna said, that's good news. Eli said, is everything okay? Edna said, pardon? Oh, right. The medicine put him to sleep. They say there won't be any further problems as long as he rests and lets his wounds heal. Eli said, not Caden. I meant you. Eli said, are you alright? Edna said, yes. I think I am. Isn't it odd? I imagined what it would feel like to return to this castle. I thought I would feel angry or sad, but it's not as painful as I'd imagined. In fact, it feels good to be here. When I first left this castle, I thought I would never be able to return, unless my hands were stained with Caden's blood, that is. But I talked with Caden for a while. Here, while standing in this castle. Edna thought, tonight, Eden dies here. From now on, you will live as Edna. At first I thought that was right. But when I tried to leave Eden and the life I'd lived for 16 years behind, just as she told me, the void that was left felt so empty. Because it was my everything. I'd never lived as Edna before. I didn't know how, so I lived on, barely breathing. And then I met you, like a miracle. I could slowly meld Eden and Edna within myself. You are the rightful owner of this throne and crown. I speak as your subject. When I said that aloud, I felt like something within me was finally set free. Eli said, what are you thinking about so deeply? Edna thought, now, I am whole. Edna said, just then, I said it feels good to be here. Aren't you curious why? Eli said, because Caden is safe? Edna said, wrong. Eli said, because this is where you lived when you were young? Edna said, wrong. Eli said, because you've overcome your past trauma? Edna said, ooh, that was really close. But wrong. I wanted to show, Eli said, Edna said, I wanted to show off how marvelous my husband is. Oh, you're blushing. You just fell in love with me again, didn't you? Eli said, ugh, you're getting more shameless every day. Although you're right. Edna thought, in the future, will I be able to? Edna said, you like me a lot, but I like you even more. Huh. That's nonsense. I like you more. Eli said, you're wrong. Eli said, no, that's not true. I like you so much more. Edna said, you're wrong. Edna thought, experience even more happiness. Eli said, enough? I feel like I get so childish when I'm with you. I'm going to eat. Edna said, oh, let's go together. Edna thought, then now? I've met so many people, and experienced so many things. I faced the pain of my past, and earned this current happiness. Eli said, what are you standing there for? Hurry up. Edna said, all right. Edna thought, you'll be happy. Edna said, yes. Eli said, Edna, what is it? Edna said, nothing. I'm coming. Edna thought, I'll be happy. Definitely. Katrina thought, after the war, Oswald was finally at peace once again. Many died in Westfield, and within the castle, but since the Count moved in secret, most civilians remained unharmed. The army from Beowulf returned home to wait for another opportunity. But as soon as Caden recovered, Beowulf was conquered and its name was erased from the maps. Caden said, "And now, all of a sudden, I have to get married. It hasn't been that long since the war with Beowulf ended. Isn't this too rushed?" Lady said, "This isn't rushed at all. In fact, your marriage would have been completed already if it wasn't for the revolt. It was only postponed due to that and your injuries. The ongoing war has given rise to uncertainty and fear. Now is the time to solidify our forces and calm the people through an arranged marriage." Caden thought, "How strict? Well, I suppose in the past I relied too much on toy." Lady said, "Don't tell me you hope to find romance as a king. Please do not forget about what is at stake." Caden said, "This is—" Lady said, "Oh, she is the Princess of Nepharna, a country near the sea. Perhaps she is the best prospective partner at this point, but I do believe it may be risky welcoming her as a queen of the royal family." Caden said, "Why is that? Is it because she's been married before?" Lady said, "Well, nobody openly discusses it. But—" Katrina said, "So seagulls live here as well?" Lady said, "Well, this is a harbor, princess. The capital is far from the sea, so there won't be any seagulls there. But there are pretty birds from the mountains. I do hope you will like them, princess." Katrina thought, "It doesn't matter what I like, because I will have to return soon anyway." Man pushed girl and shouted, "Because I will have to return soon anyway." Girl crashed and said, "Kaya!" Man said, "All you had to do was flatter that old man and look after the items we were trading. Yet you couldn't even do that little bit to maintain your marriage? You fool! I won't acknowledge something like you as my younger sister." Caden said to Katrina, "Did I surprise you? I made sure to knock, but I apologize." Katrina said, "Oh no, I'm the one who didn't hear as I was lost in thought. What brings you here at this late hour?" Caden said, Perhaps it's related to what you were just thinking about." Katrina said, What do you? Katrina thought, "What do I do? Oh no, he must know everything already. Geez, you're neither gentle nor pretty. How dare they try to ask for the resources of North Noya after sending a woman like you? At least a girl like you is good enough to beat. You're the perfect thing to vent all my stress on." "Your Majesty, you've sustained too much damage to your stomach. In the future, it will probably be difficult for you to bear children. Since he's found out that I can't bear a child, he'll send me back to Nepharna, just like that old man. Like a worthless object." "You're useless. I don't want this. I don't want to be continually judged and thrown away. I would rather—" Caden said, Katrina, I'm sorry. I did not intend to scare you, but judging from your reaction, what I heard about you must be true." Katrina said, "I do not need children." Caden said, "There is already someone I've thought of as the heir. When the time is right, I will step down and leave the throne. And for that to come true without bloodshed, I must have no children. I know this may feel like a humiliating reason for choosing you. So that is why I came here to inform you of such, before we officially married. We can cancel the wedding if you wish. I swear that I will return you safely too." Katrina said, "You won't beat me?" Caden said, "I swear I won't." Katrina said, "You won't yell, never? Or throw things at me?" Caden said, "That will never happen." Katrina said, "You won't let me starve, or forbid me from bathing. Caden said, Never. I will never make you suffer. Katrina said, Then I agree. Caden said, I would like to see your face. May I remove your veil? Caden removed her veil. Caden said, You have such beautiful eyes. They shine like the ocean. Alex and McFadden are practicing. Alex said, Darn it, McFadden! 17 years later. Alex said, Are you upset about something today? Edna and Eli's son Alex, now 20 years old. McFadden said, Am I upset about something? I normally use about half of my full strength when we duel. However, today I used about 70%. If that makes you think that I'm simply upset, then maybe that feeling is a reflection of how upset you are for not being able to fight back against me. The Lord used to have me at the edge of his sword when he was your age. Yet you've lost your focus against an old man like me, young master. Alex said, You darn grandpa, one more time, you're just an old man who's exceptionally strong. I may be struggling now, but I'll definitely win once I grow stronger. Edna said, Is probably what's going on inside his head. Eli said, His competitive nature and hot-headed personality is just like you. And I'd say his hot-headed personality and stubbornness is just like you. Hot-headed competitiveness plus hot-headed stubbornness equals very hot-headed stubborn competitiveness. Edna said, Alex is becoming more arrogant. Ever since he started wearing that ruby ring on his finger. 7 years ago, Alex became the official heir of Oswald. Edna thought, That same ruby ring I once carried years ago, I gave in since Caden pleaded so much, but I wonder if it was the right decision. Eli said, I might have a solution. Why not show what you can do to that big fish in a small pond? Edna said, Me? Against McFadden? Eli said, Of course not. Eli said, Against me. Edna thought, I see what you're doing. Edna said, Edna thought, You're going to test me? Edna said, Good. But don't regret this. Eli said, I won't go easy on you. Edna said, Of course not. Hurry up and get changed. Edna thought, But I think I understand what Eli is thinking. Alex said, Oh, Father. What brings you here? Eli said, I've been watching from up there. And it was unbearable. Your strength and technique are both a mess. Since you were young, you've only been praised. Perhaps that has blinded you from seeing your own weaknesses. You need to open your eyes and mind. Alex saw his mother and got shocked. Alex shouted, Mother? Edna said, Hiya, Alex. Alex said, Hiya, you say, but what's with that outfit? Edna said, I thought your father and I could show you how it's done, since you seem to be struggling with your sword practice. Alex said, How? But Mother, you can't. I will fight Father instead. Edna said, Alex, make sure you watch closely. Edna thought, Eli also knows. He knows that I've still been practicing my sword skills in secret. I am his wife, and he is my husband. Edna said, Shall we begin? Eli said, Will one sword be enough? Edna said, Oh my, of course. Eli said, Don't go easy on me. Edna thought, But we are both fighters who have trained with the sword. You've been looking for a chance to fight against me, right? Edna said, You too. Alex said, Is it all right for them to do this? McFadden said. I root for the Lord. Kian roots for Lady Edna, by the way. Look closely, young master. A strong sword isn't made of just small movements. Sometimes a straightforward strike that cannot be blocked, rather than a small attack that one can easily recover from, can be crucial. Alex thought. That's right, Father's technique is clear and clean, with no unnecessary movements. The path his blade takes is clear, but it's so strong that I wouldn't be able to withstand it. But then, how is Mother fighting back so easily? She's using the opponent's strength to her advantage. And she's even using it to counterattack. Eli thought. Edna is amazing, I can't even consider going easy. In fact, I'm going full on. It's been such a long time since I've fought against someone who is on par with me. Her skills haven't gone rusty at all. No, wait, on par? I'm sure Edna used the whip and twin swords most of the time. Edna beats Eli and said, Ha! I told you I wouldn't go easy. Eli said, I lost. Gosh, I didn't think I'd lose a sword fight. This is my first defeat. Edna said, Oh my. So then you don't like it? Eli said, Well, it's not that bad. Since it's you. Edna thought, He's so cute. Alex was so touched by the duel that day, he decided to travel far and wide. But that is a story for another day.